This is Control. We're on Xbox Series X, taking a look at this Ultimate Edition version of the game that is optimized for Xbox Series X. So with that, saves do not carry over, so you have to start fresh, but you do get the benefits of some next generation features that we'll be kind of going over and talking about in this absolutely incredible game. So this was my favorite game of the year that when it released back in the day, which, you know, is actually a couple of years already. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, anyways, this game has been amazing. So I checked it out, you know, when it released on Xbox One X, and I played it on PC with ray tracing and DLSS, but obviously on Xbox we don't have that through NVIDIA at this current point in time. So right now we are taking a look at a particularly interesting mode. You go over to display, we are doing graphics. So that gives us 1440p with temporal upscaling to 4K with 30 FPS. So, and it's got ray tracing. So pretty cool, obviously, with ray tracing. Control is one of the kind of poster showcases for what ray tracing can do, if you're not familiar with that. So then we have the other option. So the other option is performance, and that will give us a 60 FPS, which is obviously a lot more fluid at 1440p with, again, temporal upscaling 4K and no ray tracing. But as you can see, they still do a good job with the shadows, but obviously ray tracing is like a huge jump up. So you actually really get some great options. But the cool thing here is that we can obviously switch them on the fly. So you can actually immediately see the difference in how ray tracing affects the scenery. Now, a lot of people kind of, you know, they don't like the performance hit that ray tracing does, which is fair. You know, you can play the game how you want, right? But for me, I love the effect of ray tracing. It is the next step in gaming, and just like with every big change to gaming technology, you know, it comes at certain resolution costs and everything like that. So we're basically just kind of almost at the start of it, really. Well, we're a couple of years in, right? So they're obviously working on it still, improving it. We're going to need some solutions like DLSS to really kind of get those frames back up, and hopefully we get something implemented from AMD at some point in the future. Right, but right now, it just, like, the way ray tracing, like, impacts scenes in regards to, like, the look of the environments, the reflections, the shadows, it's just kind of, like, it's quite amazing, really. Okay, we're just skipping along here because I've done this, and we're doing this more in a review kind of factor. But, yeah, it's just really interesting. But at the same time, fluidity, I'm embracing fluidity a lot more since we started seeing, you know, some games running at, like, 120 FPS, obviously. I think that's made a massive change to what games are out there. But we look at Control, and this is like a very narrative-focused game. And there's some good action scenes, and there's a lot of destruction, and that performance kind of took hiccups and hits when we were on the One X or even the Xbox. So it's really Control, really what you want to sacrifice and which option you want. Ideally, and I'm assuming maybe next generation will get there, we won't have to make a choice. Some games we don't have to make a choice this gen, but when you want features like this, you've got to, well, you got to make sacrifices and you got to make decisions. So you can do either or. I think, you know, still visually, you do really get to have it all, really, because you can do the performance and you're not really taking like a huge kind of hit to your resolution because, you know, targets are basically the same. But yeah, it's really fascinating, and just like the movement is so much better. But we should also talk about what Control is, because I'm thinking there's a lot of people that might not be familiar with what Control is, and this game is amazing. So this is kind of a bit of a little bit of a psychological, supernatural thriller. It's very much in Remedy's wheelhouse in regards to their games. So if you're not familiar with Remedy, they come from like Alan Wake, Quantum Break. So they make very interesting narrative-driven adventures where the story is everything. The characters are fantastic. What you're doing is truly exciting and unique. And it's just an absolute blast to play these games. They really are awesome. And this game itself really is kind of the cleaned up, smooth version of, I think, what they were really going for with Quantum Break that didn't necessarily hit the mark for everyone. But I think this game got a lot of great kind of acclaim from people and interest, and it's an amazing game. This is not one you should miss out on. Again, like I called it like my best game of the year that year, and it's just it's gorgeous. It's so uniquely done in a visual standpoint. I do have like a walkthrough up on the site or on the YouTube if you want to actually see the game in action in that way. And of course, I did a review of the the game on the 1X when it came out, and that version is on Game Pass. I don't believe this version is. Now with that, this Ultimate Edition does come with like all of the content, so it's got like all of the DLC expansions that kind of connect to other universes in interesting ways that some people might really like if you're a fan of previous Remedy titles. And yeah, it's just kind of a very interesting, unique experience that, again, like nothing you're seeing here really spoils anything for you at the beginning of the game because the mystery is really interesting, but you have to dive into it and really see what this has to offer. And if I was able to because I wanted to show off a perspective of having everything kind of unlocked, because you get all these like neat abilities and stuff like that. I was really hoping to show that aspect of it. But yeah, it's just kind of like, from the beginning, it's good too, because it gives you an idea of the setting and the look and the feel of the game in very interesting ways in regards to, kind of the visual polish and the style of the environment. We getting shot at by that guy. There we go. Everybody dead? Whoa! Yeah, I know about the health things. So, it's got some pretty cool combat. It's got a lot of destruction in the environment, like things can really get smashed. You can do some wild stuff, and I think it's got a really great lead character. I really do enjoy watching her journey in regards to trying to find what really is going on with her brother in this weird facility. So you're kind of a little bit of a fish out of water. Like, she knows, like she has this understanding of this place, this calling to this place, but she doesn't really know what's happening. So you're sort of learning about the abilities, you're learning about the people while she is, and I think that really adds to the experience of it. And as you're seeing here, like the way they do certain elements of the story to me, like the visuals, like sometimes the colors just like insanely pop in the world. And that's why you might be kind of drawn to checking out the ray tracing version of this, because there's just something about the visuals that if you really get that high cinematic style, you can really get like drawn into what this has to offer, and I think that's fantastic. But we're still kind of showing off the high fluidity here. It feels fantastic. It feels very smooth. It's quite nice to play the game in this way. So keep that in mind if you've never experienced it at 60 FPS. It is, it's like a nice joy. I think we're a couple of hitches here or there, but I think that's largely due to like just kind of little loading pop-in areas. But other than that, like the visual style and the scope of the experience, it's just really interesting. And you're also kind of like exploring new areas, running into new people, dealing with unique problems along the way. And to me, that's quite fascinating. And then when you get to the ending, I think you will genuinely and pleasantly be surprised by it. Because it's so well done. And don't worry, we'll show off ray tracing again in a sec here, because I'm sure people are also very curious about that, because it's a next-gen feature, right? But we've just got to get to an area where it's a little bit unique in regards to, kind of what it presents in regards to the setting and everything like that. Are we already on the board? Yeah, just like I said, it's a weird game. Like, it's got some neat moments to it. Lots of collectibles to find. Lots of hidden secrets. Can we like smash up this place? Yeah, there we go. Kind of seen a little bit of the environment kind of breaking apart a little bit. See, it's a very... What's cool about the Remedy titles is they have very reactive environments. And to me, that's really cool, just watching this stuff kind of break down and then seeing the fluidity here. To me, that's really awesome, because when you were breaking, because you can like pick stuff up and smash things, when you were breaking stuff in, the base version of this on the 1X, stuff was like, causing intense frame drops, and to see it running like this amount of destruction and everything in the office is just really exciting to me. Like the wood splintering into like bits and pieces. It looks absolutely fantastic. Like, isn't that just like insanely marvelous from like a tech standpoint and absolutely fascinating. And like I said, it's kind of a good poster child for the ray tracing effects, just because of what it does, like tech-wise for ray tracing. It implements it very beautifully. So we'll swap over to that, and then you just like really see the smaller details in the environment, like the reflections, and a lot of it was kind of like shadow based, and I'm trying to find something that kind of casts something good there. So you see the shadow, how it kind of moves with the object, and that's just like a really kind of interesting aspect of the technology that just fascinates me entirely. And you know, even shadows aside, which might be like a sillier thing for some people, it's mostly the reflections and how it handles reflections in the environment that are absolutely fascinating to me. So you're kind of seeing that like subtle character reflection there. And they do like a decent job of it when we take off the ray tracing. But you know, you see stuff like that, it's just gone, right? You don't have it. There's no reflection. Like, it's clearly glass. But when you have the ray tracing, you actually see the character's reflection in the glass. And to me, that is just like absolutely fascinating. And I know, like, oh, we're dealing with performance, like hiccups or loss of frames because we're doing this. We're dropping. Well, it's running very smooth at 30, but you know, obviously you want 60, right? But that guy's blood just like dripping down from that body. That's creepy. But like I'm saying, is this is kind of the start of this tech. Like, this will be in every game in the future. Ray tracing is like the definitive direction of where gaming is headed. And it's just amazing to see like the initial steps of it, because this is a subtle thing, but the way it changes how we perceive a gaming world and the level of realism that it provides, it's absolutely stellar. And I've gotten more and more interested in it over the years, and I think, well, I hope other people kind of do as well, because I think this is just such a wonderful use of the technology in gaming. Because just like when we went to like 2D to 3D and everything like that, this is that next big change. Like when we added HDR, and HDR looked fantastic. This is that adjustment that should really excite you about where that tech is going in regards to the visual style of environments and how we see the worlds. Like, you can entirely change some games up based on the fact that we now can like see reflections and stuff. Like, you can make different kinds of games, and you can do different kinds of things with them, and it's just, I don't know, it's really fun. I wonder if the bathroom's actually got any cool reflections in it now that we smashed it up. I was wondering, like, tile wise. No, it's just kind of like destroyed, but it's a really unique experience is what I'm trying to get across, is that you can do all of these cool things that you could never do. Well, I mean, you can smash that 60 FPS, that's up to you, but you get the sense of what I'm saying is like, it just really revolutionizes certain elements of the experience. And this game with the titles over the screen stuff absolutely blows my mind. But like the hard colors of the environment in some of these rooms, to me, just looks incredible. Like the vibrancy of them, and that it's just stunning. I want to just like, I haven't really focused much on the story because it's best to not be spoiled by it. But playing this game is just such a treat. Like the narrative, the characters, the place you're visiting, the things you're dealing with are just so interesting, and it's so well handled. I loved, you know, the sense of scale. I can't believe I actually died there. Wow, that was a little embarrassing. At least we get a little bit of that next gen loading, I guess. But at the same time, it's like, I'm genuinely shocked I died at that point. Gotta be less risky. But yeah, it's such a well done game and such a well done experience. And when I did my first review, I was kind of like quick to the point. But here we're really doing like not only like talking about what the game offers and saying my points on it, but it's mostly kind of also a look at the tech here that is just so fascinating, because I don't think we've really necessarily seen a proper implementation of it in the next gen consoles. Like, we've done little bits of ray tracing here or there, a couple games have done it, but Control really is that premium ray tracing experience that, you know, PC players have been enjoying for a while, because it's something that, you know, kind of NVIDIA really, I think, teamed up with them to really showcase just what this thing can do. And I think that's really cool. Okay, so that's really interesting. Like, isn't that amazing? Like, that visual style. There's something about how they do, like, certain tonal elements of this and different visual things that really does just kind of blow my mind. Okay, so this is going to look really cool here in a sec, because this is a good example of a shifting world, a shifting tool that you have. It's more than just a gun. But yeah, you're kind of exploring, cleansing, and really unlocking the secret potentials of the environment that you're in.
You did it.
And it's just really, really interesting. So we should have some really cool kind of spots here in a sec that kind of allow us to show a little bit more of the ray tracing off. Oh, there's our fun assistant. Yeah, there we go. Come on. Blah, 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 blah. Body's floating. Things going bad. We need to get people back. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we gotta cleanse this. And gather the collectibles, am I right? Oh, sometimes you can go in there. But anyways, it's just like such a weird game, and to like discover these abilities as you're going through it is really, really different. And then also the conflict, the scaling issues you have to deal with. It's kind of amazing, it really is. Okay, so we're gonna skip that. Kind of just gives you an idea of it. But yeah, this is like our main base of operations. And I think the boardroom is kind of the example I was hoping for. Okay, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. We're talking, we're doing details, we're giving information, we're going chat chat chat, we're understanding a bit about what we gotta do, and we're welcome to the oldest house. Actually, I thought this was a little bit cooler of a spot for more ray tracing type effects, but we gotta find, like, there's usually like really, really shiny areas. You know, areas that like really kind of take advantage of this, if you know what I mean. Are we doing the elevator right now? I don't know if we're doing the elevator yet. I don't think we are. But yeah, you know, they do a good job with the reflections and everything like that outside of necessarily the ray tracing, but at the same time, it's just so much more juicy when you're actually... Oh, that's one of the objects of like power and stuff. But it's so much more juicy when you're actually, you know, kind of seeing the ray tracing effect in action. It's just really entertaining. Are we going to the cafeteria and stuff right now? I think we are. Yes, okay. They did a fortification there. Yes, happiness comes. People, destruction. Okay, here we go. So this will be a neat spot, this open area here, once we kind of cleanse out those enemies. Oh no, okay, so it looks like we're pretty good. So we're going to kind of look around here and just kind of take in, you know, kind of the reflections. So we see, like, in the blood on the floor, and the shiny objects, the glass, seeing my character kind of there. And then you can see with the character, like, the idea is that you should be able to see me actually causing issues. So you should see little bits of stuff kind of reflecting in the glass there when it kind of goes down. I don't know if you're seeing that, but you should be able to just really witness the full scale of this. And then also as the glass breaks, still seeing, you know, that reflection, but to a shattered degree. You're seeing the character kind of just like a line there. You see me going across, back and forth very slowly. It's just like, I don't know if I still have all your attention in this one, but to me, this is just like so next-gen feeling, unlike a lot of the other things we've seen. And just like the destruction in this game is so fantastic. Like, look at the wood splintering and stuff. That's just nuts, like absolutely crazy. And then the hard light of the red rooms, just absolutely insane. And then, you know, you get cool abilities later on where you can like fly and everything like that. That's really awesome. Like, this is just her at her like baby steps, basically. She's not even like fully understanding what she can do. But yeah, you're seeing like kind of the shadows on the chairs. Sorry, we got a couple unwelcome guests. Great, so you can see the reflections underneath the chairs. And then when we switch over to performance, you know, it just becomes these kind of like stagnant, non-reflective things. It's boring. What was that? Jeez. That was a little unexpected. I don't remember those things being there. Oh, we gotta go to the ray tracing. Okay, so you can kind of see reflections there. And then you go to the ray tracing, and you should actually... it kind of stopped, but you can see the warmth of the floor there. Anyways, so... Well, we got like an object here. Yeah, that didn't help. That's just kind of breaking apart. I can't believe you can like shatter the chairs like that. Mad props regardless. I'm trying to show off the reflections more of the environment. Or reflections in the shadows, but yeah, it's just kind of like, it's so nuts. And it's cool, again, that we can go back and forth. And just see how that changes. It's really marvelous, right? Because that's not necessarily a fully real reflection. Like, they do a good job on it. But when you get to the ray tracing, it's supposed to be a perfect representation of that world. And to me, that's just really, really cool. And yeah, this game is great. I highly suggest checking it out and trying both of the features. I know you might like or love fluidity. You do 60 FPS, that's great. But just give the ray tracing a try and see how it changes the game. See how you can really take in the world. Just, because they give us the option to, I think you should at least try it out and see what it has to offer, because this is just so cool to me.